Former President Donald Trump gets gagged again. U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan has reinstated her gag order in Trump's federal election interference case. The gag order was first issued on October 16th at the special prosecutor's request. The order prohibited Trump from targeting both prosecutors and witnesses in the case. On October 20th, after Trump's lawyers appealed the gag order, Judge Chutkan temporarily lifted it. But yesterday, Judge Chutkan seemed to have made up her mind or changed her mind. She released this decision. It reads in quote, "The court entered a temporary administrative stay of its order while the parties briefed the motion, but will now deny defendant's motion and lift the stay," end of quote. And no surprise here, Trump then responded on Truth Social to the reinstatement of the gag order. His post reads as follows, quote, "The corrupt Biden administration just took away my First Amendment right to free speech. Not constitutional. Make America great again," end quote. Former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Virginia, Joseph Moreno, joins me. So what can't he say? I mean, that's the problem with these gag orders.
Well, you know, Greta, it's interesting to hear defenders of Jack Smith, the special counsel, upon accusations of saying this is a political case, they say, no, he's just following the facts and the law, you know, as he sees them. But how do you defend the timing of these cases? I mean, Jack Smith had 5 years to bring this and the Florida classified documents case. He raced forward in barely 2 years. Then he insisted that the trial be right in the heart of the presidential campaign. Now, on top of that, there's a gag order. So now Donald Trump not only can't defend himself against his political opponents, he can't say anything about Jack Smith, Jack Smith's staff, and even witnesses like Bill Barr and Mike Meadows. So, you know, you don't want to defend Donald Trump's bad behavior. If he did something wrong, he should face consequences. But it's really hard not to feel like this is a very, very political situation.
Well, the federal judge is up to her eyeballs in it because number one is to put that trial date in May with the 12.8 million pages. I'm scandalized that a federal trial judge would do that. I'm just scandalized because she was a former federal defender and she knows that a lawyer should read every single page. And with those numbers, you have to read 66,000 pages per day between the time they got them and the time of trial, including weekends and holidays. So she's up to her eyeballs in this. But okay, so what does it mean? What can't he say? Can he say the prosecutor's stupid?
Well, I mean, if you read this...
and then who's going to decide that? The judge decides whether that's okay?
I mean, if he can't say Jack Smith is a bully, right? He's a thug.
He can't say that.
I don't think he can.
Well, who said? I mean, how is he supposed to know? How do you know that? I mean, that's the problem. How do you know he can't say that?
Because it talks about not criticizing the prosecutors and the prosecutors' staff. And look, that's ridiculous. I mean,
you should hear the things we used to say when I was a defense attorney about you guys in the prosecutor's office. You should hear the things we were saying behind closed doors.
I prosecuted terrorists. I mean, there are prosecutors that prosecute organized crime figures. You don't get gag orders in cases like that. And this is a serious concern about not just anyone's First Amendment rights. Donald Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee for president. Either he or one other person will be president at the end of next year. And so to handcuff him in the heart of a presidential campaign, look, this goes much further than just Judge Chutkan's willingness or interest in maintaining order in her little trial.
All right, okay. You can't threaten somebody with a gag order without. Okay, so if you threaten someone, that's a crime. But we're not even talking about threats. We're talking about criticizing.
That's right. I mean,
look, we're not talking about threats. We're talking because you don't need a gag order about threats. If you threat, you know, you're on the hook for that one. But we're talking about criticizing, and you've got a federal judge who's going to make a decision whether something is fair or not fair, or she's going to be the arbiter. She can't even, as far as I'm concerned, set a proper trial date.
I don't know how this is going to work mechanically. In the heart of the campaign next year, when there's debates, when there's campaign stops, Donald Trump is talking and tweeting and saying all kinds of things. Is she really going to police what he says and say, well, that's okay, but that's too far?
She could theoretically put him in jail, too,
for
contempt. I mean, what's she going to do with the Secret Service in the middle of a campaign? She's going to put, the same situation up in New York. What are they going to do, put Trump in jail with the Secret Service and he can't go out and speak to the people?
She should have put this trial after the election. The prosecutor would be no worse off. We wouldn't have these problems. But you know what? The prosecutor and Judge Chutkan insisted that it be next spring. And now it's going to be a really, really nasty situation.
What's Court of Appeals? They must be considering this.
They give judges wide latitude to issue gag orders. And so I don't know if Donald Trump's going to get much relief there.
Wow. Well, we'll see. Anyway, always nice to see you, Jack.
Thanks, Greta.